There's a season for everything, a time for every occupation under heaven, a time for giving birth, a time for dying, a time for planting, a time for uprooting that which was planted, a time for killing, a time for healing, a time for knocking down, a time for building, a time for tears, a time for laughter, a time for mourning, a time for dancing, a time for throwing stones away, a time for gathering them up, a time for embracing, a time to refrain from embracing, a time for searching, a time for losing, a time for keeping, a time for throwing away, a time for tearing, a time for sowing, a time for keeping silent, a time for speaking, a time for loving, a time for hating, a time for war, a time for peace. So what does a man gain for the efforts that he makes? I contemplate the task. The Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away. That horse is a spirit waiting near their graves. A ghost rider leaps out on the saddle of it. Then the horse begins running upward beyond the orange summit. That same horse saddled in my cousin and billions of dozens before their bones begin crumbling to the grave from the mother's stomach. Well, my nephew, he rode one to that bold son. His mother followed him way up into the outer realms where the clouds are crowded with men. At night, the ghouls are prowling for gems. There's place for grandparents, a far advanced planet where dreams go, where kings and queens souls, where everything seems slow. Tupac moves in that dark. Biggie is seeing out that city. It's misty. Jam Master Jay is in that haze. Big L as well, he dwells with Big Pun in that kingdom. And Jay Dillinger and a million of souls. Many more will have to go. Reason why, I don't know. You try to stay focused, watching for that day approaches. You got the coverage of the Lord's judgment. The blood rinse off your soft body. You're placed in the arms of your mommy. She placed you in the potty. Fast forward, you're in a staircase in your lobby, watching fiends going out apartment 5D. Well, I know this crackhead named brother-in-law. Always watch him hugging the floor. Many get high, and many souls have to fly. The Bible says we all have to die. You look for reasons, I don't know why. This is where the ghetto spirits call the night. No owls in flight, no sound of sight. As we float like a cloud through the dark light, barking a bunch of old worn-out dogs nobody wants. Howls from hell, the starving night haunts. The flesh is unveiled, pure spirit, unbothered by gravity or body weight, to a godly place. They drift into the eternal night. As they take their eternal flight, they see your majesty, the gatekeeper, the great weepers. The grave's deeper, and the night is far spent. So long, back to the darkness. That's enough. Your majesty, that's enough. Shh, you sworn to secrecy. Say no more. But Father,
child, no one must know about the